Hi guys, welcome back. Episode 7 now, back again. Also, Greg is here.
Hello. I
We,
mean, I'm always here, aren't I?
yeah, but I don't know. There may be a day where you just not here. You might be drinking in a paddling pool. You know, like that seems to be your thing. But
Yeah, but they wouldn't be pod of champions. It'd be like pod of second place winners of this year. So, yeah.
so this week, well, not even week. This episode, we're going to be talking about the latest transfer news, looking into the Prem's restart and how we think it will affect the players as the European football ends on the 23rd and the league starts back up on the 12th. So just less than a 3 week period. What else are we talking about? I've forgotten already.
Oh, this is going well. So we're talking about the Premier League deciding that there's not going to be 5 substitutes going forward for next season.
Yes.
They're bringing it back down to 3, which, yeah, we'll speak about that. I think is really good. Getting rid of water breaks. Again, thank God for that. And then, yeah, that's basically it. Transfer news. Got quite a bit on that.
Oh, and well, as we have been doing, as it's European football, we'll just be going through the fixtures and predicting, and then the next episode we'll do the same again until the final, and then we'll talk when it gets to the very end. We'll talk about the winners and either I'll be really happy because City have won, or we'll cry. Well, I'll cry. Greg will pretty sure.
It makes no difference to my life at all anymore. But yeah,
yeah. First up, should we do the European football? Get that quickly.
Yeah.
So we'll look at the Europa League first. Quarter-final tonight. First game is Inter Milan, Bayern Leverkusen, and Man United Copenhagen. Obviously, out of those two, the Inter game seems more competitive. If you're a neutral,
Definitely.
For neutrals, competitive football, you probably watch the Inter game. If you just want to watch the ball being kicked to the goal, you probably will watch the United game. Because
I'd have to agree.
Unless something happens, United will be in the semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going out to the pub to watch it tonight. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, it's like with a few friends who support Man United, so that will be the game I'm probably going to end up watching. Like you said, I think it'd be quite a routine win for them.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I will be keeping half an eye on the Inter Milan Leverkusen score. But even so, I still think Inter Milan will be too strong. I expect them to get to the final Inter Milan. So yeah, I think going through would be Milan and United tonight.
Yes, I would agree. I think, as you said, United, very routine. Unless something happens, like a penalty or something from VAR, I don't even see them conceding. Or unless someone scores a free, it'll be set play. I think it won't be from open play. I think I could see Man United like 4-0, and then Inter. I think Bayern Leverkusen may score, but Inter will be too strong, as you said. I'll go 3-1 with that one.
I think the only thing to remember is obviously it's going into this format for the first time ever in Europe, where it's just a one game, isn't it? And there's no away goals, nothing like that. It's neutral ground. So, I mean, in fairness, if there ever was going to be a time that maybe Leverkusen or Copenhagen think, right, we can actually get further in this,
it's the one game.
then it's one game, stay in the game for as long as they can, just stay defensively astute, and then maybe try and nick a goal towards the end. So, yeah, I think it probably will be a case of, especially in the United game, trying to break down and just Copenhagen for trying to stay in the game as long as they can and just try and nab something. But yeah, that's why I'm quite excited for this, because obviously it was meant to be the Euros this summer, wasn't it? Yeah. And I had a ticket to go, which obviously it's been cancelled and moved to next year. And it's like, yeah, it's really interesting because it's instead of the Euros and that type of football where obviously once you get past the group stage, it's a one game and then, that's all what it rides on instead of these two legs. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it.
I think the games, both today and tomorrow, have very so they've got one game where it's proper competitive, and then another game where you think you may be able to predict the usual winner. Because the games on tomorrow, we've got the Wolves Sevilla game, which could be very highly competitive if both teams actually show up. And then
I think it definitely will be.
And then Shakhtar Donetsk Basel, that game to me is interesting because we're going to have either Shakhtar Donetsk or Basel in the semi-final of the Europa League.
Yeah, like looking at that game, like on paper, I'd think straight away, oh, Shakhtar Donetsk, a team that are like normally in the Champions League group stage at least. Well, I say that you'll know that because you get drawn with City every year without fail.
Yep.
But so on paper, you think, oh, well, they're probably favourites to go through. But I mean, for Basel to get like a result over Eintracht Frankfurt, who did really well in the Bundesliga last season. I know they lost a lot of the better players like Jovic and what's his name, mate? Boy, he's got Jolinton, who has done absolute bits at Newcastle this season. Like they've lost players like that, so I don't know. Maybe it's just looking at that and who they've lost. That's why they haven't done so well. But for Basel to get a 4-0 result over 2 legs, I think is quite impressive, including 3-0 result away in Germany. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't write them off at all. But yeah, I still think that'd be a good game. But my focus will definitely be on Wolves against Seville.
I think the Shakhtar Basel game, I feel like it'll either be end to end and very fluid, or they'll just cancel each other out. They're going to be rather scrappy. I don't. I think I may actually give it to Basel. I think a 2-1 Basel. I think a 2-1 Basel.
That's fair enough.
And then my dad, being a Wolves fan, I'm going to have to hand the English side. And I do quite like Wolves as well. I'm going to give both games tomorrow, I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 win to Basel, 2-1 win to Wolves.
It's hard for me, the Wolves-Sevilla game, because my heart, I want Wolves to go through, obviously being an English team. And actually, like yourself, I quite like Wolves as a team. I like the style of football that they play. And I would like them to win the competition outright. And then it would mean they have a European spot for next year. Because with Arsenal winning the FA Cup, obviously, that knocked them out of having a European spot at the moment. So I would like them to do, my heart saying that. But if I was going in my head, I mean, Sevilla have such a good history in the Europa League. They won it 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Beat us in the final a few seasons ago. So I'm kind of torn, but I still think it'd be a great game.
It'll be a great game.
I have to say, watching Wolves against who did they play in the last round?
Olympiacos.
That was it, Olympiacos. I don't know. They scored early on with a penalty, and after that they seemed to struggle quite a lot.
Yeah, that was
at home as well, and I was I was expecting them to play a lot better. So I think they have to certainly play a lot better against Sevilla if they want to get anything out of the game. But I'm gonna go for I think it'll be 2-2 after full time. I think it'll go to penalties, and then who would I even pick? I don't know. Just look at the draft,
it's just
isn't
a flip of a coin.
Yeah, literally is. I'll make it interesting so we've got different predictions. I think Sevilla will go through on penalties.
Fair enough. I feel this type of structure may slightly benefit Wolves because they went to Greece and then they got the away goal, and all they knew that they had to do is get the win at home. But in a one type, I don't know, I feel like Wolves, the one off games, it may suit them, but it does depend who shows up. The Wolves that came from 2-0 down to beat City 3-2 show up, great game. If the Wolves that played Chelsea last game of the season show up, they'll go out.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Right. Champions League.
Here we go, to the big boys.
Yes, the big boys. Atalanta PSG, quarter-final. That is on Wednesday. Then we have Leipzig, Atletico Madrid.
Yep.
Probably the best tie, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. And then somehow, yeah, we hopefully will get to the semi-final. We got Lyon.
What, you're saying somehow because City have got through to this far? No, is that what you were saying somehow?
No, somehow we got lucky and got Lyon. I thought.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said somehow as in.
No.
All right.
We did a masterclass against Real Madrid. Look at that.
I have to say you played really, really well.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a mixture of playing very well, good pressing football, and Varane having an absolute howler.
Yes, that was very. I would have expected it probably from any other of the back four, any other of the three, except for Varane. But it was Varane. But we'll take it. Right, Atalanta PSG. Atalanta, obviously, game week 4 were bottom of the group with Man City, and then they come second. And then PSG, they played some friendlies. They played the French League Cup final, won that 1-0. But PSG haven't. They've, I mean, they've won their friendlies, but they haven't really played like competitive for a while. But
Yeah, I understand.
they'll still have the power to beat Atalanta, surely.
Is Mbappe fit? Do you know?
I know, no, he misses it because of the tackle.
Right, so he does miss it. Because, well, obviously they're going to be missing Mbappe, and then you've got, isn't it Ilicic who's not playing for Atlanta? Have you seen all the reports of apparently his private life, state of affairs? So he'll be missing for Atlanta as well. So both sides are missing quite a good attacking outlet. I mean, I'd hate to write Atlanta off because they scored 99 goals in Serie A,
they
which is like
third
really impressive.
They finished
like, really
third.
impressive.
They finished
I think
above.
I think it'll be a high scoring game. I think PSG might edge it, but I feel like it's going to be something ridiculous, like a 4-3 to PSG or something.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't give it that many, but I think it would be. I think PSG will, and it could be high scoring both ends. It would be nice to see Atalanta if they had the challenge. If it was just a simple PSG whitewash, then it would be because they did really well. Because obviously, as I said, they were boss of the group game week 4, and then
to qualify for that is impressive.
Yeah. So, I think a PSG 3-1.
Okay. And then how are you feeling about Leipzig, Atletico Madrid?
Well, I don't know whether you saw, but for Schalke and Correa have to stay at home because they got tested positive.
Oh yeah, it just came out earlier today, didn't it? That it was them too.
Yep. I mean, don't really know how much those two would have brought to the side, but and then Leipzig, they've lost Werner. They slipped off at the end of the Bundesliga season. I think Atletico 2-0.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite a routine win for Atletico Madrid. I feel like it'd be a 2-0 or something like that as well.
As Atletico showed against you guys, if they score early, they can close up very well.
Oh yeah, they will just shut the door.
If they score within the first 10 minutes, then we could be looking at another Diego Simeone 1-0 win.
Shock.
Right, then the tie of the quarterfinals, the big one, the Barcelona-Bayern Munich. Both teams were very good in their second legs.
Yep.
Bayern Munich absolutely wiped the floor with Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Hudson-Odoi scored that goal that was disallowed, and then Tammy Abraham scored a tap in, but Bayern could have had more. They could have had.
Bayern were in complete control that game.
Yeah.
100%.
Barca looked good against Napoli. There was a few here and there's, but they got the job done very well. Messi
looked up for it, didn't he?
Messi had 4 around him at one point, and he was on the floor, yet he scored.
Yeah, I mean that goal was just unbelievable.
But I don't see the defense of Barca being able to handle how Bayern are playing, especially the central people. I feel like PK and Longley may have it, because if Lewandowski just holds it up and then everyone around him, I'm gonna say 3-1 Bayern Munich.
Right, I'm gonna go 3-2 Bayern Munich on the condition of, and I know it's a really obvious thing to say, it completely depends the entire tie on which Messi turns up on that night. Yeah. Because if he's in the mood, then as everyone knows, he could score 3-4 goals and create.
To sit down Bayern Munich defenders and chip Neuer. He does do that a lot.
So, yeah, I mean, it depends what Messi turns up on the night, but on paper, I'm looking at it and thinking, I think Bayern will get to the final. I think Bayern will win it outright still. So, obviously, going with that theme, then, I think they will qualify. I think they'll win 3-2, but depends on the little man.
Final tie of the quarterfinal, Man City, Leon. Leon
4-0. There we go. Right, we can
cool. Leon, they did very well. defended enough to keep their away goal to get the win against Juve. Wasn't the most convincing at the end. Ronaldo probably should have scored 2 more, but Leo through. Then, as you said, we pressed very well against Real Madrid. Varane had some howlers, got the job done.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, I'm not going to go crazy and be like, "Oh, it's going to be a 4-0 white." Yeah, I think 2-0. I think
2-0.
we'll do it because we've played
Right.
Leon in the past. Believe that we've beaten them in the games we played in the group stage. I'm pretty sure.
Didn't you get a draw and a loss?
I thought we beat them one time and then lost the other time. Could be wrong.
Well, at their place, I'm just looking on that. At their place, it was 2-2, and then I actually feel like.
Oh yeah, then we lost at the Etihad. We did.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's why I'm looking at it. And like, I know on paper I've been joking about it, but I actually feel like it is maybe more
when was that
a tricky
season,
tie than you thought.
When was that season?
I think it was last season. Not well. Oh God, this gets so confusing because obviously we talk about next season. 2018.
Oh, that was. Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't know. I feel like because of the lack of trophies this season, like we literally only have the League Cup.
Yeah.
And one. I know the group stage is one game, but I feel like in knockout and the way we played against Real Madrid, I don't think. Okay, I'll change mine to 2-1. Leon may score, but I still think we'll probably do it. But it also does depend what type of defence shows up for us. Because if Laporte and Fernandinho have the game they did against Real Madrid, apart from their goal Benzema scored, closed up, were very good, then we'll be fine. But if they have the games where they're falling over, like not with it, like lashing clearances, then could be in trouble. But I think 2-1.
I think you'll win 3-1. I think it will be fairly comfortable, even though obviously you've not had the best results against them in the group stage the year before. But no, I think you just looked like that sharp and on it against Real Madrid. I don't think you could go into this next round and Pep would let the players' heads drop at all. So yeah, that's our predictions for the European games coming up.
As we're talking about games and I guess competitions, we'll move on to the league. We'll talk about the league going on. Starting back for the 2020-21 season, starting back.
Yep.
On what did you say, the 12th of September?
Yeah, that's right.
3 weeks after the Champions League final. Obviously, some clubs will have had rests and everything, but some, like City, Man United, Wolves, still in Europe. And then got the Community Shield, which I believe is in August as well, at the end of August. Liverpool, Arsenal. The league usually would have finished May, and then they would have had that longer break. 3 weeks. Okay, yeah, professional footballers still, but for me, I feel like it may be slightly early to resume.
Oh, so you have that opinion, are you?
Yeah. I would have started it at the end of September.
Right.
The whole month of September.
I personally don't have an issue with it. And I think the reason for that is that... how do I say this without sounding biased? Yeah, like you said, the professional football players, obviously, there was a massive break of when the football was meant to be on that they've already had anyway. So they've had that time off. And I know it's been congested like since they've come back, but they're still going to have that 3-week break. And I mean, even with that 3-week break, that's only if like English teams get to the finals, which obviously you hope they do. And I still just I think it's okay, to be honest with you. And I think if you look at other things in the past, and I'm going to sound biased again, but like us having to play, and I know it wasn't the same squad, we did 2 different squads, but us having to play a game in Qatar and then the next day having to play against Aston Villa in a cup competition.
Yeah, true.
And I know we played 2 different squads, and it was we kind of prioritize one over the other.
Yeah.
But I think I think squads as well adapt enough to have enough players in the squads
Yeah.
of quality that they should be able to deal with it.
I think for me, the only thing that's leading me to say maybe have more time off is the next point that we'll talk about, the subs going back to 3. I feel like obviously the 5 when this league restarted was good because it allowed more players to get that competitive fitness coming up again. And
Yeah.
obviously, like throughout our lifetime, we've been used to you can have 3 subs.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that what slightly swayed me was that if we have the league started so early and then 3 subs again, potential of injuries, but
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that it's gone back down to 3 subs. I think there was pros and cons of having 5 subs. Obviously, the pros being that players coming back to fitness and things like that, and it'll help them ease back into playing football after lockdown. But I think it was of a massive benefit to clubs that have like really good squad depth of high quality players. And I'm not saying it to be biased, but you look at a squad like your squad, City's squad,
yeah,
and it was a case of literally in
were,
one game you could bring on like Aguero, before I got injured, like Aguero, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, and like I don't know,
I remember
Fernandinho, whatever. And it's like that squad depth is obviously ridiculous, and that's fair enough. You've got it, but I think compared to you being able to bring them 5 players on that are match fit, sharp, ready to go, and at fresh legs, compared to let's say, even though they did amazingly well this season, like a Sheffield United, it's a massive difference.
When was it? I can't remember who we played. It was, I think it may have been Brighton. We 3 subs came on at once, or something, and I'm pretty sure it was both the Silvers and Mahrez. And
but to be fair, you'd have to put like that quality of player on to deal with Dale Stevenson.
I was looking at it and I was thinking, all right, you've done 3 subs, but you still have like these other 2 more, and as you said, I feel that the 3 is good because if 5, that's changing half of your outfield.
Yeah,
and it just seems like, I thought to start with 5 was great, but I did think that they would stop the 5 like after the first month of.
Yeah, I did. And same with the water breaks. I thought after I understand why the Dukes were like, oh, it's summer. And,
I mean, in the heat right now, we might want one, but
yeah, but I mean, I'm not being funny. I don't think it really.
No,
even over the summer we've had it, has it ever really got that hot? Yeah. Like, oh god, they definitely need a water break.
And when the commentators would always be like, one manager really wants to water break, and one manager really doesn't, and I'm just like, but that shouldn't really affect how if their game plan has been that messed up within the first 25 minutes, then you chose the wrong game plan to start with.
Yeah, I get that, but I almost felt as if it split. Well, obviously it did split it up into quarters, and instead of it just being a standard water break, you had managers then using it as like a time to put new tactics on and things like that. And it almost meant that like
a team that was a water break
doing badly, teams that were doing badly were then suddenly doing well after the restart after like 23 minutes, and it's like, well, it's not a game of 2 hours now; it's a game of 4 quarters. It's just say 4 halves, and that would have been terrible maths.
If they wanted a water break, then there should have been like, I know this may have been like, there are professional clubs, just put like, have a labelled, this basic, have a labelled water bottle around the pitch and then have some water. It was a tactical.
Let's turn the sprinklers on.
It was a tactical break for managers. It was never just a water break. Like a water break is max like 20 seconds to drink some water and spray something in your face, which is what some players did. But you don't need like a minute and a half, 2 minutes for like, I don't know, Sean Dyche and Pep and stuff to be like, right, you basically changing their tactics. Like that's what half time's for.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that three subs is back. I'm happy the
I'm
water
happy
breaks
water
back.
breaks are gone, and it just like when you're
Not back.
watching,
They're gone.
when watching, especially because there's no crowds. When watching, you're like, right, I know it's a small amount of time, but I'm here to watch the football, not you drink some water.
Yeah,
It just cut up watching the game, I think.
no, I'd agree. And
It was good
just
that in the Champions League, well, in City's game, they didn't have the water break, and it just flowed so good. I looked at
yeah,
the clock, and I was like, "Is it the water break now?" And they never had it, and it just flowed really well. So I'm glad that it's
that's
going.
good. Before we move on to transfer news, just whilst we spoke about the substitutes, I think the only other benefit I actually quite enjoyed of having the five substitutes, even though I'm glad it's going in the future, is it gave some younger players a chance, which I quite enjoyed.
I
But
can't comment on that because Pep didn't put any on.
well, yeah,
We would be winning like again the Brighton game. I think we were winning 4-0, and he decided to bring on someone that was a senior player, and I'm like, just don't like what's. And then the fight,
yeah,
like I remember, we were before Sane left, we were winning, and Sane is a fan favorite of lots of City fans. I was just like, just bring him on. It's not like we know he's leaving, but it would be nice for us to watch him kick the ball because we haven't seen him kick the ball since he like got broken in the Community Shield.
hmm
And then the only thing we've seen him do is smile for some photos on Instagram, and then smile for Bayern's transfer photo. Like, so yeah, I obviously the five subs allowed the youth if the youth was then played, which is why Klopp did very well. He would allow the youth to play, and then when the league was done, you moved Trent into midfield and you put youth in the right back position. I think Klopp did
hmm
well with that, and I feel if it did continue, I would have wanted like the league or something to say two out of the extra two subs you have to be a youth player
yeah. I
because
get
then
what you mean.
it would have then allowed the youth to get the competitive Premier League and because
hmm
there's I don't like having a youth on the bench and then being like, oh, he's on the bench, potentially going to make his debut, and they're not playing. It's just like, oh, continually doing that over and over again.
Yeah,
But I am.
I feel like we're going to be going down if we're not careful the realms of like squad registration rules and how
Yeah.
many English players you should have and youth players and all this stuff. So yeah, maybe that's a chat for another day. But I agree with you in the sense that I think something. It's a hard balancing act, though, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
like having all these youth players coming through, wanting the national team to do well, and players breaking through into the first team squads, but also the Premier League being this massive global brand, getting the best players from everywhere, and having it to such a high standard. Of would that
Yeah.
standard drop off if then teams are forced to have these players in and do certain things? And also, if anything, it'd make the price of English players rocket up even more if we were
True.
required more. So
True.
yeah, it's a tough balancing act, isn't it? But yeah, that's
Speaking of
next season coming up.
prices,
Oh,
nice little
link.
segue. Look at that. Speaking of prices,
Segue.
let's move on to transfers. Right. Obviously, there's the never-ending story of Jadon Sancho, but he's just been added. He's part of Dortmund's Switzerland training camp, and apparently Man United never took the Sancho deadline seriously. Blah 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 blah. I don't really care about that anymore. Other transfers.
It just bores me. Like
It
I
does.
don't know
It's
about
like
you, but like, do you not
either
have
buy
like
him or don't.
that one transfer story like every summer
Yeah.
that just goes on, and you just like, I'm actually that sick of it. Like, even though I know it has no effect on my club, and people are like, oh well, that's why you don't care. But like, I even feel like when Liverpool have had transfer sagas in the
Yeah.
past, and just like, just get it over with. I just don't care.
Like when we like if the because we just obviously we've just signed Nathan Ake and that was more public than the Torres one. But with the
Yeah.
Ake one, it was done quickly. If that had dragged on and on, like with Mahrez, we were like, oh, we're going to buy him, and then we're like, nah, 50 million is too much, and then we bought him the next transfer window, and all through that gap, it was like Mahrez doesn't look like he wants to play for Leicester anymore because of the
hmm
speculations. Yeah, and that just bored me, and as you said, you just want the transfer to be done. It's like when before the pandemic started, as with Jack, we were talking like when the transfers before the transfer window opened, it was like Sancho, and Grealish. But if Villa stay up, they'll quieten Grealish and have Sancho. That was before. And it's just like, it's been going on for that many months. Either buy the guy or just don't.
Yeah, and well, I have a feeling we're going to be hearing it until the end of the
Oh, yeah.
transfer window, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
lucky for us. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on from
We'll
Sancho.
move on.
Is he going to Man United? Who knows? No one knows, but we're going to report about it every hour on the hour anyway. So
Yeah.
look forward to that. Willian and Pedro leaving Chelsea.
Well, Pedro's already signed for Roma. We knew that before.
True.
But the Willian thought he would go. Did
Yeah.
think, yeah.
He's most likely to go to Arsenal, isn't
Yeah, and that's what I find. It may help because then they could put Willian on the wing and Aubameyang can play through the middle and can actually be what he's supposed to be, the striker. But I don't know, it's an odd one to me. I just don't. I never would have thought that after Willian's contract, I would have thought he would have gone to Spain or France or.
Well, apparently he just
Italy.
loves London. Like, that's his entire thing. And, well, he loves London. Obviously, Chelsea want to get red, and he absolutely hates Tottenham. So, out of the other teams that are half respectable, no offence to West Ham,
He's going Fulham. They just got promoted.
I don't think they would have been able to afford 100 grand a week on a 32-year-old Willian.
Yeah. But yeah, no. If they sign him, then it could go well. But then that also does leave the question: if they were to play him on the wing with Pepe and Aubameyang, where does that leave Lacazette? I guess.
Well, I read earlier in the week that they're actually Lacazette might be going. Oh, who was it to? Transfer speculation. Who was it to? It was just Atletico Madrid. That's who it was.
Yes,
Apparently there were 30 million for Atletico Madrid, which I mean,
I think that might help. That would be good for Lacazette because he has been in Aubameyang's shadow, and
yeah.
like if Aubameyang was to leave, there'd be Lacazette, but then Eddie Nketiah's coming up, and Arteta seems to like Eddie Nketiah, so that might be a good one for him. I am just reading here that I know this is dipping slightly from the luxury of Chelsea transfers.
Is it breaking news?
Sort of break. It's been within the last half hour that West Brom are in talks with Brighton over a deal for centre-back Shane Duffy.
Do you have a comment on that? Because I don't have anything.
Yes. Well, this was the only reason I said this was because it was going to lead to something that we spoke before we started recording. If Duffy goes, Brighton will probably put either Webster or Ben White in, but Leeds won't.
Oh yeah,
Ben White.
True. Hashtag free Ben White. Get it trending. I mean, it already is trending.
You see that? You see that little link? I'm very glad I found this. But yes,
there you go. So Leeds had a £22 million bid rejected for Ben White.
Yeah. After that, that was an improved one as well.
Yeah, I read today as well. Apparently, we're monitoring Ben White. By we're, I mean Liverpool, obviously. So that'll be interesting. Speaking of Liverpool, sorry, I'll leave my segue. Go on. Think he should what?
Sorry. You can do your segue. I was just going to say, I think he should go to Leeds. He did very well there, and I don't think he would fulfill anything at Brighton. Go.
Segue. Speaking of Liverpool, we have made a €30 million bid for Olympiacos at left back. I'm going to try and pronounce this. It's going to be horribly wrong. So welcome to Butcher FC. Simikas. I feel like that went all right.
That went all right. I mean, I would have said it the same or even worse. So
brilliant. That's gone well. So he's a Greek international left back.
Is he like
years of age.
Backup to Robbo?
Yeah. He'd definitely be a backup. But no, I was looking at like every fan of every club's like as soon as they link with anyone, they suddenly like start delving in, like put a compilation of his stuff together of like him doing like a nutmeg like 17 years ago or whatever. But no, so someone put his like attacking output out on Twitter, and he looked very good. He looked quite similar in terms of what, well, not similar in terms of what Robertson provides, but in terms of like an attacking output, at least from a full-back, he looked quite good. So yeah, I mean, it's just nice to have cover there because obviously we had like Milner who would cover there, or sometimes Gomez would even slot in there. So yeah, it's nice to actually have just that's the full-back position sorted. That was one of the positions I was actually wanting this summer to be sorted. That was like a backup. I know we've got Neco Williams who can play both sides, but just in case one of the main two got injured or for squad rotation, it's nice to have two fullbacks that can specifically play on both sides. So
Yeah.
there we go.
Just reading more. Obviously, there's been the news of Kai Havertz to Chelsea, and it looks like as soon as Bayer Leverkusen's European campaign is over, the deal will be done, most likely. Maitland-Niles, 2 Premier League clubs and 1 Bundesliga club are understood to be preparing bids. Over the weekend, it was suggested that Spurs were one of the clubs that were keen on him.
Right.
Yep.
They're after Højbjerg as well, aren't they, Spurs?
Yeah,
Who's got a medical
today.
Today. Yeah, today.
Yeah. Then apparently Man City have stepped up their interest for Koulibaly and Martinez. As we do. But I was watching the highlights of the Barca-Napoli game, and I don't want Koulibaly if he's going to fall over that many times.
Did have a bad game, didn't they?
He did.
I'd love to know, like, what makes. Sorry, just whilst we're on the part, I'd love to know what makes a journalist like actually write down this club has now stepped up their interest. Like, what actually defines a club stepping up their interest?
If
there's any journalists that ever listen to this, not that there will be.
It 4 times.
Let me know.
3 times.
Right.
Oh, breaking news! 2 minutes ago.
Wow.
According to the Bundesliga club's sporting director, Man United target Jadon Sancho will be playing at Dortmund next season.
Oh my God, some more Jadon Sancho news. No way!
We plan on having Jadon Sancho in our team this season. The decision is final. I think that answers all our questions.
So, in a week's time when we do another one of these, he will be in a Man United shirt.
Yep.
Yep. That's good. I like the way we say breaking news on this as well, and this podcast won't be out for like a few days. So like everyone will known this for ages. So we're just like breaking news. Then... a few other ones. What's his name? Obviously, Juventus got knocked out of the Champions League, and there was speculation that Ronaldo wasn't happy and his agent was going to speak to PSG, but Juventus have absolutely rubbished them claims. And also on Juve. Oh, double segue from the boys.
Segue, right. Mine's I think mine's a lot... Well, I know what yours is, so mine is a lot quicker. Speaking of...
I thought they were the same.
Speaking of Juve. No. Juve players. This probably won't interest you or anyone, but Matuidi is set to leave Juventus and is set to sign for David Beckham's Inter Miami.
Oh, no, I did see that. Yeah. That's quite cool.
That was my little segue, but I'm going to segue to yours. Matuidi, he's a midfielder. Who else is a midfielder at Juve? Or was at Juve?
Andrea Pirlo.
Oh, what's he been doing?
So he was announced as the Juventus under-23 manager.
How many days did that last?
9, because Sarri decided to do horrendously in the Champions League, got himself sacked, and now Pirlo's been promoted to actual head coach of Juventus, which is really cool. And I'm so excited to see how that's going to go.
So I was so they won the game on the night, but lost on away goals. Then less than a day later, he gets sacked. And then less than a day after that, we just see Pirlo head coach. I was like, we did that quickly. There was no messing around.
I've just got a feeling like I've never met the guy, but you're just like, it's going to be the most laid back coach of all time. I'm really looking forward to just seeing how it goes.
It looks good. I think. I was gonna, as we've spoken about Sarri, I'm gonna just ask your. Just say things and then get your thoughts. So when he was at Napoli, didn't win anything. His first trophy as a manager was the Europa League with Chelsea.
Yep.
I know obviously he got the Europa League and then went to Juve, but I don't know. I just didn't see how. I mean, he signed a 3-year deal, and in less than a year he was out. Won the Serie A, but at times it looked like they weren't going to win it. I don't know. I just don't think he may not be made for the manager life.
Uh, I think that's harsh because I think when he was at Napoli, they were contending like for the league with Juventus, which is
Yeah, they
obviously hard
did.
for any team to do, and they were getting quite close under his style of football. So I think that may be a bit harsh, but
They
I
were bold
think
claims FC, so
I
they got
think
to.
that is all claims I've seen. Um, but no, I think the Juventus job for any manager who's had it, especially over the last year, was going to be difficult. 'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean, he only won the league by a point. They lost the cup final, but then the Champions League is obviously what they're going for. Everyone knows it. They bought in
yeah,
Ronaldo for 100 million, who was 33 at the time, is now 35, to specifically win them the Champions League. And now he's getting older and older, so the chance of them doing that is slipping away. But
mm,
I just worry about Juventus in general a little bit going forward because that squad I saw the other night, that is a really aging squad. And I
yes,
mean, like you've got like the likes of Bonucci, and like especially with the defenders that play for them, it just seems like quite an aging squad.
yeah,
And to get like high quality replacements, like I think it's going to be tough for like your massive European established teams in the upcoming years to get top quality replacements because it's not only Juventus, but you look at Barcelona as well. The amount of players they've got over the age of 30
yeah.
that are massive squad players and have been for years that are going to need replacing. There's some really big rebuilds that are going to have to go on around the world, and especially your massive established European teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting for the future.
It will be interesting, and I feel, as you said, Ronaldo's age and everything, and if he, obviously, he's a machine and doesn't really have the, he has the physicality of someone much younger, but just because he has that physicality doesn't mean like his actual body will be the same. It won't be.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
winning the Serie A when you're at the best team in Italy should be the easy thing to do. The Champions League with Juve is what, as you said, brought him to do. If he doesn't do that next season, when he's going to be 36, then he probably will go.
Yeah,
And then
it's definitely
who would
it's
they?
not just
Who
all put on
will
him
they?
though because
Yeah,
he I saw the other day he scored every single Champions League knockout goal
yeah,
for Juventus since he's been there. So it's the other players that aren't stepping up. It's not
exactly.
him. So
Who would? Because Higuain's the other striker, and he's old. Who
mhm.
and with if Ronaldo goes and other high quality players go as well, there will just be Dybala left, and then another club will buy him before he gets too old because he is very good, and I feel he should leave.
Mhm.
So
No, it'll definitely be interesting in a few years'
it'll
time.
be very interesting to see how. Obviously, I don't think Juve will slip down and down to be like
No,
a mid tier side, but it could be interesting. But having the new manager in, having Pirlo in, may be the what they needed because look at what happened. I guess we could take what's the change at Arsenal. I know the league they finished eighth, but if you'd
yeah,
put Unai Emery in with that before, they wouldn't have won the FA Cup at
no,
all.
it would have been bad
Yeah,
happening.
yeah. So and they probably wouldn't have. They wouldn't have even finished in the top eight. So
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess maybe a better
fresh start.
European comparison for Juventus would be if you look at something like Zidane's done at Real Madrid. Obviously,
Yeah,
they haven't
yeah.
got past you this season, but to win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, pretty
Did
nutty.
you
So
did you know that the overall tie, the two legs, that was the first um, knockout tie Zidane's lost as a manager.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that is pretty mad. I mean, obviously the record has to come to an end at some point, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
still a very good record by him.
so
Right,
I believe that is all. Any more
that is
transfers?
all for
Any?
today. No, there's probably some more Jaden Sancho stuff in the last 2.5 seconds, but I'm not going to bother.
Nah. Um, we'll be hopefully we'll be getting one out. So we've done the quarterfinals. We'll be getting a podcast out for the semi-finals. Probably will be a shorter one as I mean we can maybe side off from football
Yeah,
a bit because if it's just transfer news and the score predictions, then they'll be pretty short. But we'll do a semi-final, then a final, and then the winners one. And then we're gonna, as we've mentioned, we'll have our guest on, and that will hopefully be the podcast fully revitalized.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's all for this today. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep. Cheers.
Thanks for being very awkward, Greg.
Yep. Cheers.
Right, see ya.
See you later, mate.